usual, with Beyond Infinite I Am, and today I want to talk about the law of correspondence, okay? And why the law of correspondence is so important when it comes to our everyday to day lives. Now, the law of correspondence is one of the universal laws, and for me, the law of correspondence is so important is because it's one of the base. You know how you have the foundation? The law of correspondence is almost the foundation of all the universal laws because what the law of correspondence is based on that everything within you is without, right? So everything basically is oneness, right? Everything mirrors itself, right? As above, so below, as within, as without, right? So without. So we have to understand that everything is in somewhat of a paradigm, right? An architect, a structure, right? And everything has to fall in pieces within this very intricate structure. Some even believe that our universe is a hologram, right? Where everything bounces off of each other. We're not gonna go there, right? But when we start taking a look at the universal law, right, the law of correspondence, we understand that as above, so below, right? We have the space, right? The darkness, the deep depths, and then we have the deep depths at the bottom, the ocean depths, right? We look at everything, how the trees can look like our hair, or how we are 75% water, and the earth is 75% water, right? So we look at these correlations, how we are a being within itself, and then we look outside. I always tell people, if you want to master anything outside of you, I don't do voodoo, right? I don't do voodoo, I don't do things of that nature, right? I always believe in mastering self before we look outside of ourselves. So I teach people, if you want to master the water, you master the water within inside of you. You master your own water, your emotions, who you are, right? If you want to master the fire inside of you, and outside of you, you master the fire inside of you. If you want to master the air, right, ether, right, you master it inside of you first. And then once you master that, now you know how to master it within the outside. Now you can do it in reverse. However, for me, it's more beneficial to learn from the inside so I can apply it to the outside, so I can change and alter at any point of time, if needed be or if necessary, right? So I go into this because with the law of correspondence, everything works for us, okay? Everything works for us. There is no outside source saying we want to destroy you, right? People always go, the devil this and the devil that. There is no outside source that wants to destroy you. You destroy you first. And because you are pro-destroy, now the universe is also pro-destroy, right? Everything works for you. So if you're at a party, for instance, and you're listening to low vibrational music, you're already in a pro-destroy mode, right? If you're drinking liquor, you're already in a pro-destroy thought process, right? And now the chemicals from the alcohol is getting into your body, so now you're already in a pro-destroy body. Now you're listening to lower levels of vibration when it comes to music, so now you're already in a pro. You're for destroying yourself, right? So what happens? The universe corresponds to that, right? Because everything works for you. You're working for it to destroy yourself. Everything around you will work towards helping you destroy yourself. This is why there is no such thing as, oh, this thing, right? Because the negative energy has to have a source to gravitate to, right? It's very important that we know this, right? So it works the same way on a positive note, right? If I'm doing affirmations every day and I want my life to live and be abundant and be in a certain way, I have to take abundant actions, right? So now my universal angels and my light beings and the creative force of the universe, right? And myself, right? I myself is the creative force of the universe. Let's talk about it, right? So now you're aiming to go, I want to win. I am winning. Right? Now everything conspires to help you win. Everything works for you. Everything. Everything is on the same side that you're on. Right? And this is why the law of correspondence is so important. right? So I wrote down some key steps, right? The first thing you want to do within the law of correspondence is self-reflect. Because once you self-reflect and you say, where am I in life right now? Right? Who are the people that are around me? What am I intaking? What are my intentions? Why am I there? What situation am I putting myself in? Right? Now you're starting to put yourself where you are thinking consciously. You're no longer moving out of unconscious thoughts, right? Right? Now you're beginning to cultivate who you are and having an idea of where you may want to go just by taking the time to be mindful, right? Now, the mindfulness turns into personal growth, right? Because now you're like, okay, this is where I want to be, right? Now you're getting into the level of ascension, right? Now you're looking into self-improving yourself. Very important. So with the law of correspondence, you begin, once you change the mindset, now the habits shortly follow. Now you're no longer listening to low vibrational music. Now you're no longer smoking. Now you're no longer drinking. And if you are, you're trying very hard to change that part about yourself, right? So now you're in a level of ascending, right? And within ascension, there is what is called problem solving, right? Because we don't stay in modes where we know we're the problem. We want to make sure that we're solution, right? We're the solution. We're solution based. In one of my poems, I say, everybody talk about the hurts and pains because it resonates, instead of being in an uplifting mind and being solution based, right? Very important that we are solution based creatures. Because basking in the problem will not get you anywhere but more problems. It sheds light as to what does not work for you, though everything is working for you. So you decide to shed light on problems, the universe reveals more problems, right? This is what we focus on. Let's talk about it, right? So now we're in the scale of problem solving, right? And once we begin to problem solve, our issues begin to go away. What happens? Our relationships get healthier, right? We begin to think clearer. We begin to breathe more. We begin to change our eating and so on and so forth, right? We begin to be more aware, and we begin to actually start seeing the changes. Because right when you first into it, you so indulge into where you are that you don't see the changes at first. It takes a minute for once you go through that self-reflection problem, right? But as you continue with the steps, you begin to see the change. You begin to feel the energy around you become less dense, right? I was just telling somebody earlier, I said, everybody talking about duality when everything works for one. It's very important that we understand this. People are like, oh, you gotta be bad and good. That's not what that means. You want negative and positive when it comes to polarity, not when it comes to density, right? When it comes to a lower level of frequency, it becomes more dense, right? The density begins to get heavy. You feel like always say that the world is crushing you, right? It begins to get heavy. That's not balance, baby. It's not balance, right? So let's go even deeper, right? Now we get into, after we go into the healthier relationships and the understanding yourself and the reflection and interactions with different people, because as you heal yourself, your interactions become better, right? Because if you begin to love yourself, then you naturally begin to love others, and you start setting up boundaries so that you make sure that happens, right? You start taking accountability, right? Very important to understand this. Now from accountability, we go to what? Goal setting, right? Because we got to make sure we're accountable for what we're doing. So we begin to set goals and put infrastructures in place for that, so that we can fulfill those goals, right? And this is on all walks of life. Rather it's a financial goal, rather it's a meditation goal or a mindful goal, right? Rather it's a physical goal where we're trying to get to exercise. This is the thing that, again, the law of correspondence is a reflection, right? And if you don't catch it all, you can catch it on YouTube. But the law of correspondence is a reflection of oneself, right? To understand this paradigm, our bodies are certain paradigms, right? If we begin to eat bad, our body reflects negatively. We begin to get diseases, right? So when we're into goal setting and we're taking accountability for who we are and where we want to be and where we're going in life, now it's not only just mindfulness and awareness, right? But now we're getting into the holistic well-being as a whole, right? The mental well-being, the spiritual well-being, the the spiritual well-being, right? The physical well-being, the financial well-being. Why? Because we want our dreams to materialize and become reality, right? So now this is when we're more purpose driven and we go further in our purpose, right? The law of correlation helps us understand that times a billion, right? There is no law of attraction if it doesn't follow some type of paradigm. And the paradigm it follows is the law of correspondence, right? Because even when you begin to get into the additional laws, they're still corresponding to something, right? It has to have something to react off of. There is no manifestation if there's nothing manifesting, right? There is no law of attraction if there's nothing to attract to, right? And this we really got to understand this on such a great level. You know, we sit sometimes and we're like we go to these parties, right? And all of a sudden the party goes bad and everybody goes, you can't live in Rochester. It's not a Rochester thing. This happens wherever you are if you're in a negative thought process. Let's think about it, right? We talk about propaganda, and I don't want to keep ranting because this is a pretty long video already. But we think about propaganda, right? And we think about commercials and TV shows, and this new TV show they just talking about some scary movie that I don't care about, right? But I see it all through the timeline, and now everybody wants to watch it, right? The constantly pumping fear, right? So if you consistently create, right, something for people to follow, and you continuously follow what's being created, then you're a part of that negative creation, right? When we have the choice and we have the ability to change that. So if we go out and we're in Rochester, right, and it's negative music being played, everybody smoking and drinking, and then the music that's on the scene, we got 50 minds plus, right? All listening to the same dark music. Kill 'em, shoot 'em up, kill 'em, shoot 'em up, kill 'em, shoot 'em up, kill 'em, shoot 'em up. Now our minds are so powerful. Now all of a sudden, when the party gets shot up and everybody's getting killed and everything's happening, now people are like, you can't go nowhere in Rochester. No, you can. There's a lot of places you can go. You just might not want to be where you were. Right? It's very important to understand that. Because the vibration that you created was a kill 'em and shoot 'em up vibration. Right? It's something that you wouldn't be a part of. But when you're not truly a part of that, right, you begin to miss it. It now becomes non-existent. You're now no longer affiliated with that. Now, right, the universe is still conspiring with you. So you got to think the universe conspired with a whole bunch of people who were listening to the whole bunch of thing, and it gave it exactly what it wanted. It was working for you, not against you. The thing is, you have to work for yourself. Once you begin to work for yourself, then the universe will help you do that. But if you work against yourself, then the universe will help you work against yourself. And because it's still helping you, it's still working for you, right? We got to understand this is very simple, very simple. But what's not And what isn't perceived to be simple is the thought process and how to reprogram the subconscious mind. That is what seems to be the problem. You have to reprogram this. And in order to do that, it takes some work. And the only reason why it takes so much work, because not only is the government aiming for that, not only have you grew up in it maybe a toxic environment, but the world is moving in a certain way. So you will have to go against the outside world, and that's the only thing that makes it difficult, right? Daring to be different. So if you're seeing this, I wish and I pray much abundance to you that you have the power to change your abilities, to change the thought process that you currently have to make sure that you ascend to a higher one, right? Because when it comes to the law of correspondence, the idea is to merge with your higher self. And then you can create the world you desire to have. But if you do not do that, then the universe still works with you to help destroy you. And that's inevitable, right? Until you make the change. So, if you feel free, feel free. If you want to reach out and you want to learn how to work with the universal law of correspondence, I'm here. DM me, reach out, and I will definitely have some activities put together that you can practice daily that will change your mindset when it comes to this. I love you. Peace, infinite divine abundance unto you. And Ashe.